welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I am John, and I am here to do a solo late summer update on the pod. The summer season is winding down, but we don't need to be sad. September, October, even November, I think are great months for riding around here in New England. It might be a little bit chilly at the beginning of the ride, but that just means the mornings are good times for solo podcasting, and that's what we're doing. And let's kick it off with a recap of Sloppy John's 2025. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you, each and every one of you, riders, volunteers, donors. Let's start off with like the people who did the hardest work. My lovely wife, Jocelyn, Adam and Sarah for setting up the rest stop at their house. My folks for helping with logistics, helping clean up the yard, helping set up and all that good stuff. And thanks to MBX for all of the support, all of the ride fuel, all the stuff that was at Adam and Sarah's house that like was ride fuel food, scratch, Kate's Real Food, the Stroop waffles. That was from MBX. Also the free water bottles, the ones that said MBX on them, those are also from MBX. And the 3 gift cards that we handed out as prizes, $25 gift cards, we got 3 of them, also from MBX. They covered all that cost. I fully anticipated like using my store credit to pay for that stuff. And they said, no, don't worry about it. Totally supported. And speaking of support, thank you for everyone that donated. Sloppy John's is a free grassroots gravel event, and I want it to remain free. But it is great to get donations to help me cover the cost of the food, the other food that was at the rest stop, the stuff that we provided here at the after party. We had Sloppy Joe's, we had dirt cups, we had pizza strips, pizza chips, drinks, pool. We had a kiddie pool full of ice. Honestly, that was probably my best idea for Sloppy John's was the kiddie pool, fill it with ice and put drinks in there. I was really hoping people were going to be like really hot at the end of the ride and dive in, but I don't think it was quite hot enough for someone to actually dive into the kiddie pool that was full of seltzers and sodas. I know some people were tempted by it, but maybe next year. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the donations. And generosity. So the donations were great, and they actually covered the cost of all of the food and drinks and everything. And so much so that I'm going to take those donations and pay them forward to the Tour de Rhody. We're going to talk more about the Tour de Rhody in just a second. But I'm going to take the leftover donations. I'm going to round up and putting another $100 towards Tour de Rhody. You donate like $50 to sort of sign up essentially. And so we did that. Jocelyn and I will both be riding, donated the $50 each, but now taking the extra Sloppy John's donations from all of you wonderful donors, rounding it up and putting another $100 towards Tour de Rhody. We're already planning 2026 Sloppy John's. We're talking longer routes, more gravel, bigger, sloppier, maybe a different start location like a local Grange or a local rec center. So I've got some ideas in mind, but if, in a true Rhode Island fashion, if you have any connections to local rec centers or anything like that, or local places that would want to host an event like this. So, we can just have like better bathrooms and it doesn't need to be like trompsing around my house. We don't need to be parking in my grass. To be perfectly honest, I'm going to have way less grass come this time next year because I hate grass and I'm just going to plant plants instead. But bigger, better things, looking for listener feedback, viewer feedback. You can leave a comment below here on YouTube. You can send me an email to john@itsjustahill.com. That's JON@itsjustahill, all one word, .com. Or like I said, comment below. Comment on a Strava post. Let me know what you thought about Sloppy John's, where we could improve, what you liked, what you didn't like. But be prepared. If you tell me what you didn't like, I'm probably going to roll my eyes at you. But that's more of a me problem. Let's talk about Tour de Rhody. So with the warm season winding down, I still think there's plenty of riding left, like I said, and Tour de Rhody is this weekend, and it is a local fundraising cycling event. We're talking gravel roads, riding around the Scituate Reservoir, and it supports local cancer research right here in Rhode Island at Brown University Health. Me and the It's Just a Hill team are pushing for $2,000 goal as of the $100 that I put towards it just before this recording. We're over $1,600, which is super exciting. Looking to get that other $400 towards it. But anything you can donate would be great. You can check out the links below. You can check out Tour de Rhody online, just about anywhere. Come out and ride if you want. Donate if you can. Links are below. And speaking of tours, the It's Just a Hill Tour to Cider ride series. That's a new 3-part fall ride series. We've done some just like cider rides in the past, but thinking about Winter Bike League, and yes, Winter Bike League is coming. It will be starting in early January 2026. And just like last year, we'll have a very similar format. But we're talking 3 stages for the Tour de Cider. Saturday, September 20th, we're going to kick it off. We're going to do a 55-mile ride, an A group and a B group. So we're looking at I'd say it's pretty hilly ride for 55 miles, 18 and a half average for the A group, and B group maybe around 17 or so, give or take. And those are average speeds. So yes, you will go faster at times, and yes, you will go slower at times. But more importantly, we'll be stopping at Appleland Orchard for cider, for donuts, and the works. The following week, Saturday, September 27th, will be stage 2. Similar metrics for the ride, 55 miles, stopping at Jaswell's Farms. Both of those events are already up on our Strava page. All It's Just a Hill events are always up on our Strava page. Those are the best place to get them. And we're going to do a queen stage for the Tour de Cider. Stage 3 is going to be a big boy, at least a metric century. Maybe we ride out to Clyde Cider Mill. Maybe we ride out to, somewhere else in the middle of Connecticut to get donuts and cider. Details are still in the works, but like I said, keep an eye on the Strava page, and that date is pretty locked in, Saturday, October 11th. A fun way to wrap up the season. Friends, miles, donuts. Let's talk about some personal shit. I guess my riding, how it's been the last few months. The podcast has not come out as frequently as I'd hoped, but what can we do? We can't change the past, and we're here now. We're recording one. I love riding in the fall. I love fall in New England. I don't think that's that big of a secret, but fall is a beautiful season here, and I hope to do some bike packing, just like nice scenic sort of adventure type of stuff. I do feel like my fitness has kind of been all over the place this year, feeling relatively inconsistent. I think the DC ride in April kind of threw off, let's say, the traditional or the normal trajectory that I normally have going throughout the season. I just rode, 100 miles 5 days in a row, and it did a certain something to my body that didn't necessarily mean that I was going to have the same late April and early May as I normally would. But that's okay. I really fucking love that ride, and I have been working on the video edit after editing the D2R2 video, being inspired by how quickly I edited that video. And we'll actually talk about D2R2 more in a bit. But let's talk about how I feel like my fitness has been getting better is because, and I think it started off with the 4Fs, the 4 Friends ride that I did with Jake, Lucas, and Will. I'm really glad that Jake invited me to do it, past guest of the podcast, friend of the club. And he was like, hey, let's do this thing. And I didn't do it last year. I didn't do it the year before. For those of you who don't know, it's this great local, it's another free event. Over the course of 4 weeks, there are 4 different stages that you're designated to ride. The first one is an individual time trial. The rest of them are, bigger loops. A couple of them were over in the East Bay. One of them was actually right here in Scituate. That's where it started from. The last one had attack segments, stage 2 and stage 3. It was like a culmination of your overall time. And it was a lot of fun. And it felt like more designated training for me. And I think it was the thing that really got me. First of all, it was very humbling to ride with those guys and to get dropped on hills and stuff and just be like, oh shit, I need to get my fitness up or I need to lose 10 pounds or whatever that is, And so they pushed me, and I feel like it got my fitness really kickstarted later in the season than I'm used to, but it was great. And then leading into that, the week after that, I went to Maine, which was a lot of fun, and rode a bunch, and it's hilly up there, and hammered on my gravel bike. I'm riding that new Cervélo Áspero-5 that I got from MBX, and that bike, I just think it absolutely rips. It's super fast. I've never ridden an aero bike before, and it just seems to, be faster than even my road bike. My road bike being a lot lighter, obviously more narrow tires. You're not riding on the same type of stuff, but that Áspero-5, man, I hate to sound just like a Cervélo shill, but it cuts through the air, baby. It cuts right through the air. And I want to get a new Cervélo R5, and I'm really looking forward to that. I understand, Cervélo is one of those brands that people look at and they're like, oh, fucking dentist. Listen, I'm not a dentist. I'm just a commercial director with let's say a relatively underemployed commercial director that gets some work done from home and shoots other days, but mostly rides his bike. And I know you might be jealous of that. You might be jealous of, this seems rude. And now that I'm saying you might be jealous, I'm really rolling my eyes at myself. And I want to let you know, sometimes I'm trying to keep myself in check. But MBX sells Cervélos. I'm not going to go out and buy a fucking Specialized. Damn sure I'm not going to buy a Specialized. But in terms of like the brands, the road bike brands that MBX carries, Trek and Cervélo, I'm picking Cervélo every time. No offense, Trek. I think you make great bikes. I mean, Adam kicked my ass on that checkmate on D2R2. And, you know, I don't really think bike matters as much as fitness does. So I just am absolutely loving that Áspero-5. I'm excited to ride it in Tour de Rhody. I'm excited to ride it more in the fall. Just spending more time in the woods. Maybe I'll finally get a mountain bike this winter. I really felt like I wanted a mountain bike last winter. It was cold, it was windy, it was snowy, and if I could hit some trails in the woods. So people at MBX, if you're listening, which I hope you are, because that'd be great. But come on, let's give me a mountain bike. Another personal thing. Recently, I had an encounter with a motorist. I like calling them motorists instead of. I recently had an encounter with a car because there is a person behind there, and it's a person that's making those decisions. And I have spoke about in the past that I think that our outfits as cyclists and just what we're doing out there, being on a bike, being in sort of a funny position, putting on tight clothing, wearing sunglasses and a helmet, I think it's alienating. I think it's dehumanizing. And I think that most people, whether they be pedestrians walking on the road or people driving in cars, they look at us and they don't necessarily humanize us as much as they should. Essentially, we're just people who are trying to get fresh air, trying to get a little bit of exercise. Some of us ride faster than others, but when it boils down to it, we all have the right to be in the road. But so do the people who are driving cars, right? So like there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a coexistence of sorts. And so actually, let's take one step back. The day before I had this encounter with a landscaping truck, I had a ride with my dad down in South County. And I commented on how nice all of the people in cars were. Like, they were giving us plenty of room. They were waiting around blind corners. I was waving at them. I was giving them peace signs. Like, They would be waiting around a blind corner, and I would make sure to wave and say thank you, all that sort of stuff. And it felt like an absolute great day. I rode the next day by myself, a relatively short loop. And when I was legitimately within a mile from my house, I was stopped at a stoplight. This is all on video. You can see it on Instagram. I just want to sort of get some things about it off my chest. I'm stopped at a red light. This truck pulls up behind me while I'm at the red light and passes me on the left to take a right. He had his right blinker on. He's trying to take a right at the stoplight. Well, you know, once it turns green, I'm trying to go straight. I'm there before him. He goes around me on the left to pass me on the right. He shouldn't have done that. Of course, it upset me. I think I said something to the effect of like, well, that was fucking stupid. And then I noticed the light turned green. The light turned green like halfway through him turning. I want to be clear. I did not feel in danger. I didn't necessarily feel like he was going to clip me. Now, if he were to be doing that, if he were to have been doing that, like when traffic was moving, obviously that's super, super unsafe for a car to pass you on the left to take a right. I know people who have gotten into collisions with cars because of that exact reason. And that shit's scary as hell. Sure, this guy did it when we were all stopped. He didn't need to do it. The light turned green as he was turning. Had he just waited for the light to turn green, I would have gone straight and gone about my business. He would have been able to go right. But right after he took a right, he took a left into the local credit union to do their landscaping. He was a truck carrying a trailer. I understand. He's a person working. I'm out riding my bike. I don't really think like what we're out doing in the world is relevant to the argument here. We both have the right to be there. There is no circumstance where you would ever pass a car on the left to take a right in front of them. It comes down to sort of like a respect thing, or maybe just like a knowledge thing. He didn't think that what he did was wrong, but I followed him into the credit union. And that's why I know that he didn't think what he did was wrong. And you can see this video online. And I don't really want to talk about the video too much. I do want to talk about like the comments. mostly bad, mean comments from people. Some people that I kind of know, like local cycling acquaintances. And I understand everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And I am putting this video up on a public forum. I am videotaping a guy in a public place with my phone. He did not want to be on camera. It's very clear in the video he didn't want to be on camera. I can respect that. I kept talking to the camera myself. He walked away from me. I did not continue to chase him once he got on his lawnmower and started to cut the lawn there. He seemed like a reasonable enough guy. Maybe it was just the camera that he didn't want to talk to me. But that being said, he really should not have passed me on the left to take a right. That is a dangerous situation. And I just want to have a conversation with him about it. I've had productive conversations with people in cars before and been like, hey, what you just did was not safe. I think that's how I approached him. Hey, man, that wasn't cool. What you did was not safe. Oh, I was just taking a right on red. But you can watch the video. It's up on my Instagram. It's up here on YouTube. Let's talk about some of the comments, because some of the comments are nasty as hell, especially on Instagram. There are 76 comments and most of them suck shit. But let's talk about one of the positive ones real quick. Local cyclist Colin. If you want, I'm not going to say his last name just in case he doesn't want to be called out here on the podcast, but he commented, bike safety educator here. When a cyclist is on the road, they are considered a vehicle and are subject to all traffic laws and interactions with other road users. Passing someone who is stopped at a traffic light on the left is illegal and unsafe. So that's the thing. It's just illegal and it's unsafe and it's impatient. And that was a conversation I was hoping to have, like a productive conversation from both sides where I could understand what this guy was thinking or just explain to him like why it was an unsafe situation. So then you get like the comment that's like, guys just trying to get to work. Just get out and enjoy the ride. No need to rush. Now, this particular comment is from a local cyclist who I think I've ridden with once or twice, friend of a friend, don't really know him well. I'm not expecting him to have all of the same opinions and outlooks as me, but this is just like, I don't want to say it's victim shaming. I'm not a real victim here, but, and some people might say that this is like a problem of mine. When I feel afflicted by someone else's actions, I want to say, hey, I don't like what you just did. And to me, sometimes you just bite your tongue, right? Like pick your battles type of thing. In this situation, as someone who rides their bike a ton, that's very clear about rider safety and rider etiquette. And like on all of our group rides, I pride myself on being clear that like communication is important, pointing things out on the road, being respectful to drivers, riding single file on roads that are too busy. I've sort of said my thoughts on riding 2x, which I do think is safer and is a shorter group and all of that. This just trying to get to work, get out and enjoy the ride, no need to rush. I wasn't rushing. I was stopped at a stoplight like I should be. And had the light just turned green, I would have just clipped through and slowly moved through the intersection. And it just is so many nasty comments from people that I don't know, that I do know. People going like, dude gave you so much room. Yeah, it wasn't about the room. It wasn't about feeling safe or not. What he did was an unsafe maneuver and could be dangerous when people are actually moving. My friend Brendan, local cyclist, haven't seen Brendan in too long, but he said there are a lot of undereducated people in these comments lacking empathy and a clear understanding of basic traffic laws. Cool. I couldn't agree with that more. These are just like basic traffic laws. Someone comments, bikes are gay. Absolutely inappropriate. Fuck that person. I think I commented back, fuck you. Maybe, just maybe, he was more willing to have the conversation if you weren't recording. I understand that. He probably wasn't. He didn't want me to be recording. Should I have turned the camera off and talked to him? Yeah, I probably should have. I think it would have been more productive. I didn't do that, but I also don't think I like harassed this man. So whatever. Someone says you can't win with these. Respectfully, I disagree. I've had productive conversations like I've had. Oh, someone just puts like a Miz. This is good. I actually like this. I like the Miz. This is like a Miz crybaby gif. That's from someone with a rare Pepe in their profile picture, so that's how you know they're good. Someone goes, you look cute in your once piece. I should get one of those for when I ride. I think they mean one piece, And I wasn't wearing a one piece. I don't own a skin suit. I'm not that hardcore of a roadie. I don't own a skin suit yet. If any companies out there with skin suits want to sponsor me, you can email me at john@itsjustahill.com. That's JON at itsjustahill, all one word, .com. Looks like you were just trolling for attention, putting people on blast for no reason. Just a guy trying to work. Did you tell him you were filming him? Just pathetic how you have to do that. Nothing happened. No one was hurt. Okay, whatever. Am I trolling for attention? I mean, yes, I like attention. Am I trolling for it? No. I like to make videos. I like to share my story. I like to share the stories of other people. I like to document things. I like to put myself out there. Take the L, bro. Get a life and stop crying about it. Just another douche in tights on a bike thinking they own the road. What you should do is mind your own business and let that man run his. If you are a local... I am local. I love that. If you are a local and knew anything about this landscaping company, I'm not going to say their name here, you'll know that the owner is the nicest person you could meet. He did seem very nice. He didn't seem mean. I made a mistake with the camera, I guess, and having a productive conversation. If I truly wanted to have a productive conversation, I should have put the camera away. Was I a little bit worked up in the moment and I had my camera out and I thought like maybe this would be good? Yes, I was caught up in the moment a little bit. Give me a fucking break. You never got caught up in the moment? Listen, I know people who left these comments aren't watching this fucking video. I highly doubt they are. I just wanted to let the people know that like I got a lot of good comments from people in person. Like people go, oh, I saw your video. Good for you. Spoke up for yourself. And I read some of those good comments. There were a handful of other nice, supportive comments. Some people said things to me at Sloppy John's that were like, oh, good for John for speaking up for himself. But so many nasty, hateful fuckers on the internet. And it sucks shit. And I know it's part of like putting yourself out there. But like some people just like commenting over and over and over again. Like, what are you doing? Like, I just struggle with it. I know I put it out there. They have every right to comment, but I have every right to be frustrated about it too. You're a little girl crying about someone making a right turn around you. I hope your tire pops when you're ridding down a hill. They meant riding. You're a little girl crying about someone. They spelled someone wrong. Making a right turn around you. I hope your tire pops while you're ridding downhill. Because they want me to change a flat or because they want me to fucking land on my face? Hateful fucks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I talked about D2R2 a little bit. I got to move on from that shit. I don't want to think about that anymore. D2R2. It's always one of the best events. Love to do it. Going to do it again next year. Hopefully you checked out our recap video and the podcast that I recorded with Adam on the way up. I'm going to put that down below because I think it's kind of a longer video, but I think it came out pretty well. It's about an hour long, but it's got a nice ride footage, us talking on the way up, and a pretty good lengthy conversation of us reflecting, almost very podcast-like at the end of the episode. I'm selling this camera. Listen, I know that I got all fired up about that thing, but this is how much of a professional I am. I'm going right into sales mode. I'm selling this. I got this Cycliq. I threw it up on Facebook Marketplace, but if you're interested in it, I'm selling it. It's a front-facing camera light combo. There's an out-front mount that comes with it. There's a 64 gigabyte micro SD cards in here. It's factory reset. I used it for a couple of months. It's like $370 retail now. I think I paid like $310 for it because I had a discount code. I've got it listed for $225 shipped. I don't really want this to turn to the biggest sale pitch, but I like this thing a lot. I'm running the Garmin, the exact same similar Garmin thing now that has a light and a camera out front for safety reasons, because I don't trust people in cars because they're looking at their fucking phones all the time. But this is really nice, and I know a couple people have them locally. I know it's expensive, but I will ship it to you for that included price. And if you have any questions, you can comment below. I'm also selling my Salsa Warbird frame. There's no pictures or anything about that yet, but I'm selling it for about $700 if you want the frame. It comes with a stem and a seat post, the fork. So frame set, if you will. Hit me up, john@itsjustahill.com. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Looking for comment, looking for feedbacks. Reminder about Tour de Rhody donation. You can check out the links below. Check out the D2R2 video recap. Thank you for being a part of It's Just a Hill, whether you're someone that joins our rides, listens to the podcast, both. Maybe you're an anonymous donor to Tour de Rhody. You know who you are. Maybe you're an anonymous donor to Sloppy John's. You know who you are. I don't think there were that many anonymous Sloppy John's donors. People like really secretly putting $20 into like the tissue box that I put out. But yeah, I really, had sort of my ups and downs with It's Just a Hill this year. The relationship with the club has changed. Like I sort of mentioned a bunch. Maybe you call me a crybaby for being honest about my feelings with It's Just a Hill. It was a thing that like I started with a group of people and I thought it was going to be this like hive mind thing that we're all going to put the same amount of effort into. And that was just super unrealistic. And now I'm kind of like the guy doing, 75% of the work at least. And the other 25% is split up with other people that I love very much. And, like Adam helping out so much that he has and being part of the MBX family now and being an MBX ambassador, Adam, and riding with him so much. And shout out to BSP for always helping with the podcast. Meeting up at Coldbrook Cafe with him and Norland is always fun. And Brian is always so quick to be like, yeah, I'll do a mix down on the podcast. He's got other shit in his life going on and people just have busy lives and who the hell wants to run a free cycling club all the time? Sometimes I ask myself that question, but I really do love it and I get a lot out of it. And things like Sloppy John's really remind me of like why I do it and why it's fun. So yeah, thank you so much. If you like the show and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, we would appreciate it if you do. I always still say we, even though it's mostly me. I still love to say we because I do think It's Just a Hill is a hive mind. Now, am I the queen bee? Maybe. That's not like a Beyonce reference, but I do love pollinators. And so you can call me the queen bee if you want. If you call me the queen bee in public, I'm probably going to forget that I ever said this. But shout out to the worker bees. That sounds rude as hell. Shout out to all my other bees that are buzzing about and helping with It's Just a Hill. Whether you're sharing events, you're bringing people to rides, you're helping out, you're NBX who are helping out, helping the club grow and grow the community and all of that great stuff. I just can't thank you enough. Thank you for reminding me why I do it, why I think bikes are fun. I like to ride hard and I like to ride long, but I don't think everyone necessarily needs to do that. And I hope that you find what you love through cycling and the people that you love and the scenes that you love, like the scenery or the scenes. It's like I'm into the cycling scene. I don't know. I'm running out of steam a little bit. I got so fired up about those fucking Instagram comments. Okay, John, I need to go for a bike ride. Thank you all once again. See you on the next one. We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.